guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be reacting to a video called 10 Inventions You Didn't Know Were Polish. I do not know a lot of Polish inventors or just the Polish scientists in general, so I am excited because I bet there's a lot of commonplace items that people use in their daily lives and they were actually Polish. So I'm excited. Let's check it out and comment, like, and subscribe.
Change the way we live. They come in all different colors, shapes, and sizes. We don't always understand them. Sometimes explaining it can be a little difficult. But they've helped us shed light on the world that we previously knew very little about. All of them landmarks in technology, and they all have one thing in common. They were made by Poles. Oh, kurczę, you might say. I had no idea a Pole invented that.
I have no idea what that means.
But the English-speaking world often keeps the records, and maybe they were having problems with the spelling, let alone the pronunciation. In this video, we're shedding the limelight on the top 10 inventions made by Poles, at home and abroad. Number 10. The walkie-talkie. Born in Warsaw in 1909, Henryk Magnuski worked as a radio
1909 seems quite old for a walkie-talkie. I thought that was more recent.
repairman for the Polish military, and he eventually ended up in Chicago. Surprise, surprise. It was here that
Because there are a lot of Poles in Chicago?
he would be employed by the Galvin Manufacturing Company, which would later change its name to Motorola. Leading a team of
Wait, how that came to be? The Galvin Manufacturing Company seems sort of a family company, and then Motorola is this huge thing.
radio engineers, they developed the SCR 300, the first radio
Okay, is that the walkie-talkie? It was huge. It's a backpack. You had to carry this around.
to be used by American forces in Europe. This revolutionary mobile device became known amongst GIs as the walkie-talkie.
How is it? Oh yeah, walkie-talkie. You're walking and you're talking. Still, it seems enormous.
Nowadays, you can find the walkie-talkie in just about any line of work. Take this part-time construction worker, for example, overseeing Magnuski's head. Number 9. Esperanto.
Oh.
Imagine a world where there is one
Are still people still speak this? I'm not sure.
neutral language that everyone can communicate in. A language of understanding and diplomacy that has the power to end international conflicts and foster world peace. That was
An utopia of sorts.
the dream of a linguist from Białystok by the name of L.L. Zamenhof. While studying in Warsaw as a young man, he began to develop Esperanto, largely based on his knowledge of the Romance, Germanic and Slavic language groups, but with a much simpler grammatical structure that could be easily learned.
Germanic and Slavic easier, a simpler grammatical structure mixed with those two sort of languages. I don't think that's right.
A simple language invented by a Pole. Who'd
Yeah,
have thought?
No
After more
one.
than 30 years of development and several books published, the first World Esperanto Conference was held in 1905. Since then, the movement of Esperantists has continued to grow, and today there are an estimated 63,000 to 2 million speakers of Esperanto.
Okay, so I was wrong. People still speak this.
Number 8. The kerosene lamp. The story of the kerosene lamp can be traced back to the present-day Ukrainian city of Lviv, which used to be Lvov, Poland. It was here in 18...
I know obviously territories change, but still seems a little crazy to me, the concept of an Ukrainian city that used to be Polish. I know that's crazy.
In 1953, the two Polish chemists, Jan Zek and Ignacy Łukasiewicz, attempted to distill alcohol from oil, which at the time was an incredibly cheap resource.
Alcohol from oil? That doesn't seem right. Are you supposed to drink this? It came from oil.
Being extracted in the region. Though they failed to make anything potable,
Yeah.
at least not to any self-respecting spirit connoisseur,
You're gonna die of alcohol poisoning.
what they did discover was a clear flammable liquid that burned long and bright, and more importantly, it didn't stink like oil.
Ale śmierdzi.
Putting the liquid
Oh, it's true, because I hadn't thought of this, but yeah, burnt oil, it doesn't smell too great. Although I think kerosene doesn't smell that good either, right?
called kerosene to work, they asked a local tinsmith to make a lamp with a small tank at the bottom. Thus, the classic shape of the kerosene lamp had been born.
They're creative and very resourceful, but yeah, of course, they're scientists, and I like that. Oh, we didn't actually create it what we were looking and what we were trying to achieve, but still, this has potential. We're gonna do something with this.
Number 7. The railway signal device. Jan Josef Baranovsky deserves
Hopefully, this was invented at the same time as the railroad system.
the award for the most proactive employee of all time when it comes to his work for the French railway. Fleeing Poland after the failed November uprising of 1830,
No idea
Baranovsky first
what
worked
that
as a
was.
bank teller and cashier in France, before he landed a job as a bookkeeper for the National Rail Network. Baranovsky made several key inventions for the railway system, including the first ever ticket printing machine that could spit out 5,000 tickets an hour, and each with a unique
Ticket printing machine. Wasn't this in the 1800s? That seems crazy.
serial number. But at a time when railroad accidents were becoming more and more frequent, it was Baranovsky's
Okay, so they didn't have this signal system. What were they doing then? Wild West? You're just riding around this? What? Crazy.
automated railway signalling device, invented in 1857, that made the biggest impact on the
I
industry.
bet. Yeah.
Prior to this, signalling depended on employees waving flags at various points along the track,
No.
as well as their knowledge of when and where the trains were coming from.
No.
In an age of
I'm sorry, that seems wild to me. No.
increasingly busy railway lines, the Baranovsky
I don't even want to know how many accidents people were getting into back in those days.
signal, as it became known, avoided countless accidents and undoubtedly saved a lot of lives.
Yes.
Number
Absolutely.
6, the telectroscope.
What is
Jan
that?
Szczepanik, often referred to as the Polish Edison, made several contributions to technology throughout his lifetime. However, it's his version of the telectroscope, produced in 1898, that is considered to be a
I've never heard of this word in my life.
landmark in the development of telecommunication. A telectroscope is a scope and lens, amplified with electricity, that can reproduce images from a distance.
Oh, like a TV.
Sound familiar? You may not be surprised to know that the term telectroscope was replaced around the turn of the century with the word television.
Oh.
Though he was certainly not the
So he literally created TV?
first, Szczepanik's weird machine, as it was called, is alleged
I love that it was literally called a weird machine. Yeah, of course. Must have been in the 1800s. You see a TV, people were probably saying, what is this?
to have been able to recreate colour, which would make Szczepanik the forefather of
Okay,
colour
so he invented TV about, 100 years before it was created or available?
television. Number 5, the paperclip.
Oh.
Whilst the person behind the idea of the mighty paperclip has long been disputed, one contender for your praise may be
Okay, so a lot of people claim their paperclip, apparently.
the famous Polish pianist and composer Józef Hoffman. Praised
It seems kind of weird to be a pianist and also an inventor.
by many as the greatest pianist that ever lived,
Okay, give it up,
Hoffman was
Chopin.
also an inventor in his spare time. It's been suggested
He was an inventor as a hobby, but then he created good things that we are still used these days. So he was a genius.
that the inspiration behind the shape of the paperclip was the treble clef, no doubt burned
No.
into his brain after
I doubt that didn't happen. That
hours
No.
of reading piano scores.
No.
Hoffman is also accredited for developing one of the earliest mechanical windscreen wipers, which
windshield wipers before cars. I don't know what year was this. And still the paperclip, and then you're a pianist. Come on, give it up for some. I don't know, leave something for other people.
apparently was inspired by the back and forth motion of his metronome.
No,
Number 4.
I would think that's probably legend, but I doubt it happened because this reminds me of a metronome.
The electric-powered submarine. Although experimentation with submersible craft had existed since the mid-16th century, it was a
Very, very brave to get in the submarine with 16th century technology. I wouldn't have done this.
Pole who first successfully created a submarine powered solely by electricity. Mechanical engineer Stefan Zhevietsky was taken on by the Navy of the Russian Empire in 1877, and it was here that he made a huge number of developments in submarine technology. The biggest of these came in 1884, when he installed a battery-powered propeller to a one-man submarine
How
that
big
could
was
chug
this
along at
battery?
a steady 4 knots an hour. While it
I have no idea how much is 4 knots. What, is it, I don't know, fast? No? 20 kilometers, 2 kilometers? 1 mile?
May sound slightly unimpressive now, this was a major technological advancement at the time, and especially considering the fact that most submarines were still relying on coal power and oars. Outside of submarine
How do you have oars in a submarine?
technology, Zhevietsky is also the guy who invented the taximeter, of all things.
Again, what year? The taximeter? Wasn't this the 1800s? They didn't have cars.
Number 3. The vote counting machine. Oh look, it's our friend Baranovsky
Oh,
again.
again.
The mid-19th century was a time of renewed interest in liberal democracy, and public voting was taken very seriously.
Yeah.
Realising the overwhelming task of counting votes, as well as issues of scrutiny and impartiality,
Hopefully, maybe they just wrote things down, but still, how many? Well, maybe there were just fewer people back in those days, but still, you're counting them by hand. That seems crazy.
Baranovsky conceived the idea that
Yeah, how many people were voting? If you have 1 million people voting, you have to count. You have to count. That's going to take you 2 months.
it would be better for a machine to do all the counting
Yes.
instead.
More efficient.
No doubt his obsession with numbers was the major motivator behind this. And other machines he patented as well include the gas meter.
Oh.
Yes, apparently he invented that as well. Number
So
2.
successful.
Cotton swabs. A cornerstone of modern hygiene, the cotton swab was developed by Leo Gestanzang, a Pole from Warsaw who made the Chicago move in 1912.
Again, Chicago.
The story goes that in 1923, Gestanzang found his wife, Jutta, applying cotton wads to toothpicks in an attempt to reach those hard-to-clean places. This became the
Well, rudimentary, but it gets the job done.
inspiration behind the Q-tip, Q standing for quality. But unlike his wife's
Oh.
toothpick, the Q-tip had 2 cotton tips to allow for double takes.
And I know doctors hate it. They don't really like you using those.
Before we reveal our number
Ear
1
doctors.
Polish invention, we'd like to mention that Poland in your pocket is currently struggling financially, no thanks to the coronavirus situation. In the description you'll find a link to our donation campaign, where you can make a contribution to keep us going at this difficult time, and we really do appreciate any support that you can give us. Number 1. The bulletproof vest.
Oh.
If you can stop a bullet, you're either Superman or a Pole.
Well, you're putting a bulletproof
The
vest.
first commercially produced bulletproof vest was made by a Polish priest named Kazimierz
A
Zeglen,
priest.
who travelled to the US in the 19th century. It was
How come a priest has invented these things? Well, maybe he just want to save people because he's a good person.
here that he came across the research of a George E. Goodfellow, a physician based out in the Wild West. It was Goodfellow that observed how gunshot victims who had silk fabric against their bodies often had reduced injuries when struck by a bullet.
Really?
Expanding on his research, Zeglen developed a centimetre-thick vest of layered and woven silk that could stop a bullet altogether. He publicly demonstrated his
It's just silk. I thought it was another thing. I don't know. That doesn't seem sturdy enough to stop a bullet.
new invention in 1897.
I'm going to shoot at you. They must have been so confident into this. Yeah, you're gonna let me shoot you with wear this. What?
The priest wore the vest, and the assistant fired the bullet.
Oh, okay. I thought it was the other way around. No, of course it makes sense. He was. I trust my invention so much that yes, I'm gonna put this on, and you can shoot at me.
Zeglen's vest was not a viable product.
Oh my
it was
God.
slow to produce. Not to mention the
Okay, I thought it was unsafe. you're okay.
outrageous price tag of $800
How much
which
is
is
that?
about $25,000 today.
Really expensive.
Enter Pole number 2, Jan Szczepanik. I think
Again?
you've been acquainted. Szczepanik, who had been developing automated weaving technology for years, teamed up with Zeglen and managed to work out the whole mass production thing. The
Good.
bulletproof vest was a huge success amongst the rich and the famous who could afford the ridiculous price tag
A tale as old as time.
that still remained. Most notably, Szczepanik managed to palm one off to King Alfonso of Spain.
Of course, the king.
And the vest saved his life during an assassination attempt.
Oh my.
Archduke
Okay.
Franz Ferdinand is alleged to have been offered a vest,
That didn't happen. No. Of course he wasn't offered this. Things would have been so
but
different.
turned it down. And we all know how that turned out.
Yeah.
Zeglen
Right
and
in the world.
Szczepanik eventually had a falling out over business relations. And
Oh.
although Zeglen never relinquished his authorship, It was Stepanik's weaving production and entrepreneurship that made his profit greater.
Yeah.
So much so, in fact, that Zeglin's contributions are all but forgotten today.
He was erased.
It's also interesting to note that over 60 years later, it was an American woman of Polish descent, Stephanie Kwolek, that developed the polymer for Kevlar, the fabric
Kevlar.
which is used in today's standard issue bulletproof vests.
So many things use Kevlar.
So what did you think of our list? Were there any crucial Polish inventions that we somehow overlooked? Make sure you leave a comment below. And in the meantime, if you're interested in checking out more content on Poland, make sure you head along to poland.inyourpocket.com or check out one of our city Facebook pages. We'll see you next time.
Okay, I think this was really very insightful, I believe. It's kind of funny to me, but I don't know if it was normal because I never thought about this. But there's a lot of, sort of Polish inventors, Polish scientists. But again, I don't know because I haven't done the math. There's so many British, 130 British inventors compared to 200 German inventors. I don't know, but seems like a lot. Although it's kind of crazy that two of these people appeared twice on the same list. So maybe there weren't that many of them. It was just that the ones they had were very successful. And I mean, obviously people are still inventing things, but I think back in that time period, I think 1800s, early 1900s, I think people were creating a lot of things back in those days. I think one of the funniest ones to me is the Q-tip and the paperclip, just because those are things that are still in use. It was over 200, around 200 years later, people all over the world still use these things. So it's kind of funny that, wow, no modern sort of invention has been has replaced these two things, which again, it's kind of funny because so you created this perfect thing on one go. There was absolutely no need to sort of modernize this, or yes, we're switching things up. So it's kind of okay. You kind of you found a pot of gold and that's it. And the first time you did it. I think the Q-tip one is really funny because I actually think you can grab, I think it was a toothpick and a cotton swab. And technically, I hadn't thought of this, and that's why probably I'm not an inventor. But you know what? That actually makes you could actually do this. I mean, if you are in a pinch and maybe you don't have a Q-tip, you could actually do this. So it's kind of okay. I think it's really funny that still have this again. Things haven't changed that much because in the 1800s people were doing this, and in this day and age, if you didn't have you ran out of Q-tips and you really it's an emergency, then you can actually do this if you have those things at home. So I don't know, it's kind of wow, the humans have not changed that much. That I think also it's really funny because ear doctors will let you know, do not use this. They hate it when you use this because I think it just pushes the logic behind this for ear doctors is that you're pushing the earwax further in because it's not, and again it comes out, if it comes out dirty, I'm cleaning my ears, but they don't like it because you're pushing it, which I think, it makes all the sense in the world actually, because that's what a Q-tip is. You're kind of like pushing it, or maybe you're just, I don't know, you're even if you're twisting it, you're still kind of pushing the wax in. So that's why they hate it when you use this. They'll let you know, do not even do this. But Q-tips are used, I know, so many other things, of course. There's, for when you're putting on makeup, or I know for in hospitals, I don't know, when you have a wound that you need taken care of. I don't know, there's like a lot of uses for Q-tips, and it's really, he actually kind of great. And the paper clip as well, which I think is really funny that a lot of people claim the paper clip. I don't know if all of them were Polish, probably not. But then, if it wasn't the case, and no, it was a lot of people from other nationalities just inventing the paperclip, then okay, that makes me think, again, I'm not that well versed in how paper clips were invented, but it tells me that maybe someone was, I'm going to create something that kind of groups a lot of papers together, like a binder. Well, though probably they didn't have binders back in those days. Again, that's why there was a paperclip. That maybe someone in, I don't know, Russia was doing this, and someone probably took a good look at it and was, you know what, I think maybe I can create this better, I can make this better. And this person was, I don't know, from France. And then they sort of tried to create the paperclip, and maybe that's how it came to be that, oh, now you're, and maybe someone from, I don't know, Poland saw this and was, oh, so the French guy was, you know what, I think I can make it better. And that's how a lot of people ended up claiming it. I would assume not fine, because maybe it wasn't done on purpose, but maybe you just see, you'll take a good look at something that someone is creating, and then you go, you know what, I know what doesn't work and what works, and I can tell you, I can outright tell you, yes, you know, it's not working, this invention is not working because you need to do this and this different. Then instead of telling them, you know, I'm gonna create it myself. Which again, I don't know how, well, I don't know, is it a moral, do you have a moral sort of, I don't know, thing about this? Maybe you shouldn't do this, and you know, you have to let them know, but I don't know. Either way, I think it's really funny that so many people apparently are apparently claiming the paperclip. Our paper clips, yes, they're still being used, which again seems crazy that, yes, we invented this 100 and 200 years ago, and it's perfect. The design is perfect. We don't have to change anything. It's you're perfect the way you are, which, you know, well, yeah, incredible. And it's kind of crazy to me that the guy that was doing this also was a great pianist. It kind of makes me mad. It's, oh, come on, you can't be that. Well, yeah, you can be talented, but you're supposed to be talented in just one thing. You're not supposed to be talented in several things. It seems, I don't know, it seems kind of, well, I don't know. I don't like it. The other thing that I obviously, one of the greatest probably invention, and of course all of those were very useful, the kerosene lamp, and yeah, the real signet device that of course changed so much about how people were traveling back in those days. I don't think, again, it's kind of crazy to me that they didn't invent this at the same time as a railroad system, because again, it seems such a hassle. It seems crazy to just go around willy-nilly in the world without this, and again, that's why they were getting into so many accidents. But of course, it changed so much. It changed lives. It saved a lot of lives. But I think obviously probably the most important out of these inventions, and I think, yeah, probably if you kind of measure lives sort of saved, it's probably the bulletproof vest. I think it's kind of sad that the other guy that kind of came up with the idea is sort of erased from history. But I can, I don't know, maybe he was a priest, so he would probably be, you know what, I forgive you. But I don't know, it seems kind of, I don't know, I don't like it, because it's, well, I think with inventions especially, usually it's not the work of just one person. I think it just, either people get inspired by other people, just as the guy with the Q-tip, he saw the wife and he was, oh, you know, I can create this better. Or just other things in general. And you should give them credit. And I don't like it that, oh yeah, so he gets all the credit, and the guy that actually came up with the idea itself of, oh, you know what, we have to use silk because it's a material that apparently protects, then he was completely erased. And the guy with the manufacturing process that was, you know, I can streamline this, that's the one that people go, oh yeah, he invented a bulletproof vest. So I don't know. I think that was poorly done. But I know that's usually how life works. But I think it's sad, and it's good that videos like this actually let you know, no, it was this other guy that actually came up with the idea, and the other didn't stole this from him. It was more of a partnership that it ended up going badly, as so many partnerships do. But, you know, it's important to give him credit, because he was the one that came up with the idea. And actually, it's kind of crazy that they were just made out of silk back in those days. Because I hadn't given this much thought, but I would assume, oh, they either used some sort of weaving or some sort of other material. But it was a material that maybe it wasn't outright created. It was something that they kind of did something to, I don't know, to the fabric or to the material. I don't know. I don't think I've ever thought of a bulletproof silk vest, because to me silk, yeah, it's sturdy, but I don't know, sturdy enough to stop a bullet. probably not. Which again leads me to what it's crazy that the guy that the priest was, you know what, I trust this so much, and I trust the silk so much that you can shoot at me. It's okay. That seems crazy. How many layers were? Maybe it's just because there were so many layers, and it was this big, thick best, and maybe that's why still I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't risk it. It doesn't matter if it has 20 layers of silk. Are you willing to put this on and I'm going to shoot at you? No, probably not. That seems like not a thing that would work, but I don't know. That's just me. Yeah, this is an incredible selection of Polish inventors, and I now learned something new. And that was it for today, and I'll see you soon. Bye.